Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your hosts from Columbus, Ohio and Westfield, Massachusetts are Michael Kirk and Nathan Wagner. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Supershow. And like last week, unfortunately, Nathan Wagner will not be joining me today. He is off again. Unfortunately, that is a rough thing because I would have loved to have him. This is episode 50. I wanted to make episode 50 a big show, but I believe I have because I have on today two guests that will be joining me right now. Our first guest is the current Director of Operations for the legendary Fighting Federation. He is the only man to ever win a Run the Gauntlet event at a convention. My other guest is a 2019 Origins World Heavyweight Championship finalist. He is the former All-Ohio champion. He's been both the Rustbelt champion and the BCW champion. Both of these men will have a featured match at Supershow Marktoberfest taking place less than 1 week from today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad, pleased, happy, ecstatic to be joined by David Maruscsak and Matt Nelan. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Greetings and salutations, my friend.
How's it going, Mike? Glad to be here.
I'm doing well. Doing well, guys. I'm happy you're on the show. So, this is now the second. I would like to open the show talking about Marktoberfest coming up the 21st of September, 6 days from today. So this is going to be your second creative competitor competition taking place this year. Why go for a second?
The why? I think I got tricked, mostly. Booker said that we should run another one, and he really, really, really wanted to name the event Marktoberfest. For some reason, I think he just likes the word Mark, because he's a Mark. So we decided to have another event. We didn't know if we were going to do one next year or whether it was going to be this year, but we decided, hey, we can probably run one back 6 months or so after. And late September, early October just kind of worked for people, and it wasn't a bad time for the store. So we decided, hey, let's see if we can make it happen. And about 2 months ago, we really pulled the trigger on, okay, let's get this scheduled and figured out and put it in overdrive.
Okay, so this is going to be James Booker's idea. You're blaming your tag team partner for Sunday on this to a degree, but it's a good kind of blame. Okay, now this is not an excuse for him to wear lederhosen to an SRG event, is it? Just throwing it out there.
I don't know if he owns lederhosen, but I would be willing to bet that he would if the need arose. He would be a guy who would wear an outfit of that caliber.
Sorry, James, just do a little joke.
I definitely would never wear lederhosen. Never. You've never seen me in goofy. You've never seen me in goofy outfits, guys. Come on.
No. Can we see the green screen in lederhosen?
I don't know who the green screen is or what you're talking about.
You never seen a picture of the green screen? I don't know if you may not have met him, but
you got to remember Matt's colorblind, so he doesn't see that color.
Oh, have you seen the red screen?
I've heard rumors.
Okay. He may. I don't know how that works. I know red green is pretty common. All right, that's enough about colorblind. Get back talking. So, go ahead, Dave. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen this Sunday.
So, this Saturday, we're looking to have
Saturday.
Event. Yeah, it's fine. We're looking to have a main event card. Have about, I think we're up to 5 matches currently. I haven't really put this card out for everybody to see, and the order in which we're going to have them is not finalized. But we're looking at something along the lines of the All Ohio Tag Belts will be defended. It'd be James Booker and Neil Nelan versus, I believe Colin Simon told me yesterday, it would be 2 Live Lou, which is Jamal Lewis and Bobby Ohio.
That is correct. I was there last night when 2 Live Lou won the opportunity to match for the championship. See if they can win their second championship this Saturday.
I mean, we'll see. Neil and Booker are really going strong with this whole run, so I don't know if there's going to be any way of toppling them, but never underestimate the dice.
The phrase that you guys have popularized is just wrestling cards and dice.
They're going to roll some dice and flop some cards, and we'll see what happens. But that's the first card on the match. The second card on the match will be the CCW Championship. It will be between my partner here, Matt, versus, I believe, the newcomer to the LFF, the brother of the big guy, Gary Schneider. And he will be defending it this weekend. I don't believe there's any major stipulations for the match. I believe it's just the standard CCW rules.
I do believe it's a squash match. He's putting me against an unproven commodity here. I feel bad for this J40. I don't know what Stephen Hines is doing, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I mean, it could very well be a squash. I've never met the guy. I don't even know what deck he plays. He could just be playing a Rising Sun starter. I mean, it's very possible that he just comes in here just to get trounced. I mean, this could be like, the Dolph Ziggler Goldberg match from a couple weeks ago. But I'm not saying he's gonna get killed. I'm just saying I don't know who this guy is. So hopefully he's got some skill to back up his brother's swagger for him.
Well, I mean, you guys, I think, probably more into their territory, used to having a brother taking on brothers, so that may give you guys a little bit of an advantage.
Let's see. The next card match, I believe, will be for the Rustbelt title. The champion, Ryan Nelan, the son of Matt Nelan, believe is being challenged by his brother Neil. So that's going to be an inner family squabble, as it were. I know Neil's got a couple of problems going on with Ryan since he's been champ, and I know he's tried to air those grievances. I don't get involved in that family stuff. Matt can elaborate more on that if he wants, but I know Ryan's maybe had some problems at school. I'm not too sure about, but that's just all I know.
I mean, I guess it's all subjective. Problems or drawing dimes. That's really what you got to think about. I mean, unfortunately, Neil Nelan is about the 4th or 5th best Nelan player in the LFF community, so we'll see how that goes.
Who's the third?
His daughter.
Okay. Would not have predicted that. Never seen or heard of his daughter.
Neil's daughter was the first Rustbelt champion, actually.
Oh, that's right. I do. It wasn't Neil. Okay, that is his daughter.
Once the cameras came out, she went underground. Being a 13-year-old girl and being videotaped with wrestling cards and dice was not her thing.
That's fair.
She's way better than most people even know, and beat the crap out of most people for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying she's a top player. I'm just saying that if she was still playing, the junior heavyweight title wouldn't even be available to be contended because she would just whoop everybody's.
Let's keep it G, Dave. All right, so next on the card, we've got three championships up for grabs so far.
Now, those are the 3 belts that are being contended on Saturday, that I have scheduled. I've been told that the general manager wants to have some more matches on the card. As of yesterday, I've pretty much confirmed that there will be a tornado tag title match. That will be going down between Bob Dunn versus Keith Nieves. That's his last name, Nieves.
I believe it is, yes.
I know how to say his name, so I say his last name because I properly pronounce people's last names. Not like some other schmucks. But they will be going down. That match has been agreed upon, and I believe the general manager has stated that he will support the match if they both agree upon it. I haven't seen the official paperwork done yet, but everything seems to be in the proper order on the front side. So that match will be scheduled and recorded for everybody that wants to see it. So I'm looking forward to that one because I didn't even know that Keith was coming until a couple of days ago, and I'm pretty excited that he got himself a match on the card so quickly. I didn't know that he was coming, and now all of a sudden he's got a big prominent role. So we'll see if he can put up on the big stage.
Yeah, this may be the first championship I think he's gone for outside of any local title.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had a title match for anything before, but I could be wrong. But I don't remember anything else other than maybe something from Kentucky or Tennessee. And then because I don't think he ever has placed in a top 2 position. Just going back off of what I remember from the conventions I've been to.
No, he's been 24/7 champion. I would think multiple.
He's been 24/7 champion, but I don't think the 24/7 champion bracket really. I don't think that's the same pyramid as another regular LFF title like that. I don't think those wins count too heavily.
But they should. Michael, on top of that, I believe there's a lot of maybe other local titles. I don't know if the BCW champion, is that Mallory still, I believe? Is she going to be facing anyone at Marktoberfest?
As far as I know, she is not because she has defended the championship within the last 30 years. So there is no compelling to defend this time. So I believe at this point there is no match scheduled.
Understandable.
I hadn't been contacted by Colin about it. When I asked him about it a couple weeks ago, he had no information. I'm pretty sure that Mallory is coming because I know Keith and Christy are going. So I'm assuming Mallory will be there. I mean, if Colin would like the title match to happen, I'd be more than happy to try to fit it in. But at this point, I've not been told by anybody that it's happening. So I don't. Have you guys just not crowned a contender down there? Has there been no events?
Well, a week ago yesterday we had the match. She defended against Nick Masters, one half of the Griff Plate. And then this week we was pretty much in just the tournament, and she was not there. So this week we just crowned our tag contender. So I imagine there may be something. There may be a number one contender crowned at the event, because BCW will be running their big monthly event the week after.
Very cool. Very cool. The week after, is that going to be on the Saturday or the Sunday?
The Saturday. It'll be the 28th.
Okay.
It'll be the Saturday at the Guard Tower East.
All right. Well, I'll talk with Colin and see what we want to do. And then the last match that I've been told is being put together. Nothing has been finalized, and it might all fall through entirely. There may or may not be an Underworld title match at Marktoberfest. Kirk Polka has been rumored to be coming to the event, and if he is there, the general manager John Calais has been putting together a list of potential candidates for Kirk Polka for number one contender, since he currently does not have any, because we have not had any Underworld Championship tournament since he won, and he was the winner of the little gauntlet Andrew Trebring had to go through. So Kirk is the number one contender, I believe. Didn't Thomas Gordon win at Gen Con?
Well, I was going to say, the last thing I heard was that Kirk Polk was going to face Thomas Gordon at Platt Saturday.
Oh, Platt Saturday, right. So yeah, I don't know if Thomas is going to be here at all. I know he was talking about going. I know when I talked to Jacob about it, I think Thomas was trying to show up, but I don't know if he has that weekend free or not.
I don't know. It'd be interesting if they pushed that match up. I thought for sure that was going to be a natural match. The two gentlemen in the New World Order facing off at the home of the New World Order. But
it seems like the right move for that. I don't see that match moving up, but I'm not sure if the general manager will make Kirk defend the belt at Marktoberfest prior to that. Because I mean, as we've always said, Slash Gordon has a date with Destiny for the title, but just because Kirk doesn't have it doesn't mean that means that's Kirk's match too. He could always lose it, and then Thomas Gordon could face whoever was the next champion.
it would definitely shake up the championship. More comfortable for to have a match to lose the belt at your.
And the other thing I want to make clear, Michael, is anyone can have a grudge match at Marktoberfest, even if it's not on the main card. It can be filmed, recorded, and promoted independently. Not just because we have a main match card. If you have a grudge match or any other issues or titles that are being defended, because there are some other locals that will be there and champions, they are more than welcome to defend their title at Marktoberfest.
I also am going to see, based on what happened yesterday in Massachusetts at an RCW's event, there may be quite a few defenses of the hardcore champion.
Yeah, isn't the Brain is now hardcore champion, so he's traveling with that title. He could bring it to Cleveland. That
The Brain
that
is
belt
still
could sit
the
around.
hardcore.
That belt could definitely come to Cleveland and sit around here for a while. I wouldn't mind having a few shots at the hardcore title myself.
Sit around there, could end up going up to Michigan, down to Columbus, back down to Kentucky. Who knows? It's wide open. Who knows who'll get a challenge? Who knows who will win?
I mean that those matches can happen anytime. I don't see why they couldn't. And as Matt said, yeah, if you have a grudge match, you're more than welcome. I mean, I do know that Neil Nelan is apparently trying to put down a rabid dog named Brian Vanderwheely. Brian has challenged Neil for some reason. I'm not sure. I think the guy's got a bucket list that he's trying to check boxes off of. I mean, it's a cute idea, and I guess if you want to really start trying to find people to fight to make a name for yourself. I mean, if you really, I get it. He wants to make his own name for himself instead of being known as the bootleg Sean Loeb. But I appreciate what he's trying to do. I'm just his hatred for Neil so far. I'm not exactly sure what warranted it.
I do not know either. Thank you for mentioning that. For our listeners, that Brian Vanderweel is better known as fake Sean Loeb, or I guess bootleg Sean Loeb is starting to take hold. A name he gained at Supershow Sunday, the last big event you guys held at least.
Yeah, he's a nice enough guy. I don't have any problems with him. I've talked with him a couple times. He seems like a good enough dude from the Kalamazoo region. They seem to have a pretty good player base up there. But at the same time, I'm not sure what Neil did to draw his ire.
I'm not either. I do have a couple questions. Have you introduced at Rustbelt a new championship belt?
Yeah, Michael, we have the inner belt title. It is essentially a 24/7 title that gets defended weekly. It's kind of like a television / 24/7 title. If you come to the store and you can beat the champion 2 out of 3, it's yours.
Is it possible that'll be on the line at any point?
I would imagine that title will be defended multiple times on Saturday.
All right. So just more important matches. This may be a lot of championship, a lot of potential to shake things up in the Rust Belt in the LFF.
That would be correct, sir.
So let me move on. I'm still talking about the event. Last event we had, last creative competitor competition. You introduced 4 new promo cards to the Show of Force, Feeling Dangerous, Top Rope Flying Headband Drop, and the Director of Operations. I know the Top Rope Flying Headband Drop was used with great success by John Polverino in winning the Trios Championship. I know that the Director of Operations card has become essentially next to the Champion Kickstarter the most used entrance card in the game.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Are there any plans for any promo cards coming out this week?
We might have 1 or 2 or 3. We don't have a new entrance card. We have no entrance cards. I don't think anything on the docket this time. No new entrances. There might be 1 or 2 new slots that you might find some cards at this time around.
Right. So hypothetically, if there are going to be new cards released, will those be released on the day? Will those be spoiled on another show, like Monday Real, maybe a Top of the Universe?
Currently we have no other commitments to go on any other shows. You were actually the only one who reached out to us to be on a show at all for our event this time around. Appreciate it. But I am not scheduled to go on, or I don't think anybody's asked to spoil anything. We do have 3 cards that are coming out. I'm pretty happy with how they all came out. Steve was a good guy to work with yet again on getting everything tossed up. We do have a new card coming out that is being done art-wise by the guy who did the art for most of our original promos, Gary Radziak. I'm pretty happy with the art that he was able to whip up for us. And then we have 2 other cards that are being done by SRG artists.
Gary Radziak, for many of you, you may know him as the original Vader, the more cartoonish version, the one that does not come with the starter set.
Correct.
I will say I do, just thinking, I did like the art from the original card, so if it lives up to those, I think they'll look.
I like what he did. I gave him, the outline of what I wanted, and he was able to whip those up in pretty good order. He wasn't able to do all of our cards, which is saddening. But I guess he got a new job recently, so he doesn't have as much time to do the freelance stuff. But I'm very happy to at least always get one of his pieces of art on our cards every time we have an event.
All right. So last time you had lead, follow up, finish, and of course the end card. Will it be a lead, follow up, and finish this time?
No, I don't think we have a follow-up this time. It just didn't fall. The one that we wanted to do just didn't work. We had a couple of ideas for a follow-up that would be new, but it just didn't work out. I wanted to do something again at the 16, 17, 18 slot because dominantly those cards just aren't. I don't want to say they're not good. I just want to say they're probably not usually as impactful as other cards.
I would probably say there is no consensus best card for those cards.
No, which is why I was trying to put cards at the slots where you don't get to see a lot of stuff, which is why, like, when we made Show Force, it's at 12. There's not a general best card there, so if you want to put something at that slot, you generally can if you want to tech something out. I believe the cards this time around, as a spoiler for some things, I believe there are slots 7, 9, and 30.
Ooh, so a new submission. Now, I know both of you gentlemen were featured prominently on the previous cards. Will the art on the cards feature some new members of the Rustbelt, some Rustbelt individuals we have not seen before?
Yeah, there's some people on the cards this time around that you may not have seen. There are, trying to think of how many people are on all the cards. Let's see, there's 2, 3, and then the other ones. So there's I think on the cards altogether, there's 7 different people in art. I think there's one or two rehashes.
Well, that sounds great. I really look forward to seeing what those cards are. So, a couple questions about the format. Is it going to be like the previous format, where there'll be essentially a number of rounds and then the top cut?
Yeah, we're gonna do the same system that we used last time because it worked out pretty well, barring any catastrophes with that computer. But
Okay.
it seemed to work out pretty well. There will be multiple rounds. We had 47 last time, so we had to do at least 5 rounds. I would imagine there will be at least 5 rounds again. I think the numbers just generate after like 35 people. You have to do 5 rounds. So if I get less than 35 people, I'll be very sad. However, I'm thinking we're going to get over 35 people. So we're looking at probably 5 rounds with a top cut based upon your record.
I had 40 yesterday in Massachusetts, so that's a big number. I think you guys are probably going to try. You're looking to beat.
What was their exact number? 40. That's a good amount. That's a good amount for them. Where exactly is their venue?
That was in Massachusetts with the compound and some of the New York friends coming up. And I'm not going to say that we need to be at higher numbers than them, because I got nothing but love and respect for James DeMello and the compound. The New York guys, yeah, we can beat them. That's fine.
I mean, it's not like we haven't beaten them in the past. I mean,
I wouldn't say that our Fun Time Sunday events draw more dimes than their CACs. I wouldn't say that. Oh wait, I just did.
I mean, it's a proven fact.
So, you have announced that registration will start at noon. You're looking to have a bell time of 1. People should bring their deck lists. Deck list is available to be printed off on the SRG show discussion on Facebook.
Yeah, I just need deck lists for records of the event, so people that can write everything out. It's not hard. Just map your deck out, put everything down, make sure you put which faction you're playing your spectacles and which ones you're using, and your competitor. This helps us do diversity also way easier, because at the end I can go through, page through, and be like, all right, these are the top cut. This guy's playing the same decks. Well, he didn't make it. It's much easier for that. It also helps for random deck checks if we ever have to see if there's any sort of double dragon suplex or something in a deck for no reason.
Will people be able to add the new cards, the promo cards that are coming out to their decks on the day of the?
Yeah, our cards are legal the day of, so if you want to play them in our event, you're more than welcome to put us into your deck. You might have a little hard. You might have a hard time utilizing a couple of the cards. They might be a little restrictive on a couple of things you can do, but depending on how you build your deck, you might be able to fit all of them in. But that there's one that might be a little trickier for you.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention were tickets are on sale now. If you go to the Facebook event page, there's a link to Eventbrite. Tickets are $30. As of right now, they will be $40 at the door. So I believe we're encouraging people to buy online if possible ahead of the game.
Yeah, you can pre-register either in the store or you can pre-register online. There is no limit to the ones you can do online. I don't know if I've heard some people say that there's like remaining tickets are available, but you don't have to worry about that. They can always just re-add more tickets. So like if you're like on there and it's like, oh, there's only 2, there is no hard cap. The only hard cap is in the store of how many people can be in the store at the time. And I think the store in the back can hold like 60 to 80 people. It's really high. Like if we use all the tables and they got other ones they can unfold. So I mean, if if we hit that cap, I'll be ecstatic. But I don't think there's any major cap for the event.
Right.
And then, of course, if you pre-register, it's $30. It is $40 the day of. Last time they took down the pre-registration link. I want to say at like 10:30 at night on Friday, and then at 11 p.m. people were messaging me going, "Hey, can I get the pre-registration link back? I don't want to." No, you had like 8 months to get there. Now you pay $40. I'm very lenient on a lot of things, but in actuality, I don't have any control over the pre-registration link that's handled by the store. So if they take that stuff down at like 10:30 at night on the Friday before and you have it pre-registered, sorry, Charlie. Nothing I can do about it.
So I would encourage anyone, if you're planning on going and you have not pre-register as soon as possible, because a day, 2 days, possibly even earlier, the link could be taken down. So please pre-register early to guarantee your spot at $30.
Yep, and of course, with that $30, everybody will be getting a set of the promo cards. Those are going to be delivered to the store next week. I'm not sure if they're shipping or if they're just coming with John in his suitcase. Either way, it should be fine. We haven't had any problems with John shipping stuff yet, so knock on wood.
No, I hope that's the case too. I've asked him to bring something, so I'm hoping.
And there is. If you check your Facebook message, Mike, there might be something for you to see there.
I'm a little intrigued now. So while I check the Facebook, see what kind of little present I've got. So I've just received a card, and we're going to spoil it now. Dave, if you would please, what is the card?
The card is number 30, Crippling Crossface, 8+ power restricted. It is +1 to technique, +1 to submission. If you have 10 or more cards in your hand, your opponent gets 2 breakout rolls this turn.
So it is a skill requirement card in the same vein as Top Rope Flying Headband Drop. It will require you to play either the Director of Operations or like an Overdog.
Yeah,
and
it's in keeping with the same idea of Headband Drop with our other cards, where you want to try to get more cards in hand.
And it has a effect similar to Gargano Escape, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if that was our. I don't know how many different iterations this card came through. It definitely got changed multiple times. Just to peel back the curtain on it. I think that was the second effect that we used. But I think the stat bonuses had to get changed around a little bit for how strong it was for being a generic.
This is a card that will give somebody like Super Hombre some fits.
Yeah, because you don't get a third breakout roll.
Right, so there will be no +2.
And then the art was done by Lotta. That was one of the artists that we had requested when we couldn't get Gary for all 3. Lotta is one of the ones that a lot of us appreciate, myself and James Booker really like. So we got that person to do the art for us. And the crossface card, as you can see, prominently features Matt Nelan applying his submission hold to some schmuck there.
An unnamed schmuck, or is it schmuck?
That I believe, if you look close enough, I believe you can generally make out that would be the man known as Funtime Bob.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. He wanted to be on a card, so we let him be on a card. So he's taking a crossface. You're welcome, Bob.
I guess now is a good time to bring this up. So, of course, we've talked a lot about what's going to go on during Supershow Marktoberfest, but before Supershow Marktoberfest, there's going to be a match where my two guests are going to be on opposite sides of the ring. Dave, you're going to be teaming up with James Booker, and you're going to be taking on Matt Nelan and Bob Odell for the opportunity to go to be in the tag team tournament to become the number one contender for the LFF tag team.
Yeah, the GM put that match on us. I know he's trying to create the brackets. I'm not 100% sure why he decided to force Matt and Bob to tag. It was not my idea in the slightest. I didn't even know any of us were going to be in the event. It was it's honestly a decent honor to be put into the division championship tournament bracket. Booker and I made top 4 in the tag event at Origins, and the only loss we had the entire day, because we went undefeated in Swiss, the only loss we had was to the champions in top 4 when they went on to the top 2 and then won. So the only thing we had a blemish on our record was losing to them, which if you lose to the champs, the only thing you do is that's pretty good. Because during that event, we also had during the bullet rounds and in the first round of the top cut, we had beaten the current champions, which were big money, Stephen Hines and Gary Schneider. We had 2 wins over them. So if we hadn't been able to make the finals and win that way, we were kind of hoping we could utilize that leverage into some sort of title shot there. And it looks like the general manager has rewarded our hard work with a spot in this bracket.
Yeah, no, guys, we're a formidable tag team in the tournament if you make it. Of course, Matt, and maybe you and Funtime Bob will go on.
I imagine that this is doomed to fail.
You know, you're too confident that you and the gentleman currently in as a member, the current Three Kings member, will be able to take it home.
I mean, anymore, I live by a saying: "Don't trust fun time."
I've known Matt for a long time, and I thought I had known Bob pretty well, but the fact that he's done what he's done, with just total disregard for just about everything, is it's not unbecoming of him. But I just don't know what got in his brain. He must have had some worm get in there and poke around, because this is not the way a best friend should act towards another best friend. I mean, I've been friends with both of these guys for a long time, but these two guys, I've never seen something dissolve so quickly.
Yeah, I know this is not the easiest thing for my guests to talk about, especially, but for the people who are listening who may not know this, what happened? What's the background?
So, I mean, Bob was a player in our little area. He came out probably, I don't know, a couple months after we had all started. We had tried to include him in the evenings, but he never made it out. Every time we would bring him up, we he wouldn't come out. So he came out a little later, and I don't know if he just felt like he wasn't a part of the team for some reason, even though he had traveled with us to multiple places. And then at Origins, he decided he was gonna, for some reason, join KSW, and that, Matt was hiding his feelings pretty well that day. I was really mad when I saw him go out with them. I mean, no real disrespect to King Pink. I love the guy. He's a good dude. He's helped me in a lot of instances learning the game. But, when he goes out and helps support them from what I can tell, is basically no reason, and leaves us high and dry, that guts me. That hurts me bad. I mean, I can't imagine that you guys down south were feeling much better when, certain Bobby Trader decided to leave Buckeye Championship Wrestling for the King Show.
People, how can I say this? I don't want to be if somebody feels like that's the best place for them to go. I have no ill will toward Bobby. Just say no ill will toward Bobby. He's been my former tag team partner, and so we faced off many times in singles.
Well, I mean, that's good of you. I know there's some people that have a little more upset feelings than you do. I haven't been down to Columbus in a hot minute, so I'm not sure how the general feeling is down there for him, but I know there's at least a couple people down from the Columbus ways that aren't exactly thrilled with Mr. Bobby Trader.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know that it's really torn you guys up.
It hasn't been the best couple of months for Matt. He's I mean, to say it's put him off his game, I don't want to talk ill of one of my best friends here, but I mean, he definitely hasn't been in the title picture since then, and he's been a little more reclusive. I mean, I know his son's been coming out more since he's been the champ too, and that's been good for him. I know they've had some father-son bonding with that, but at the same time, Matt just hasn't been the same the past couple months. I mean, it's like a piece of him died.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I've enjoyed Matt. I've enjoyed all of our interactions together. Let me ask you something. Let me change the subject since I can tell this is not the most pleasant thing to talk about. I believe that you guys are still in the final round of the faction. There are 3 matches. Sorry, there are 2 matches remain. You were looking to try to win both of them and win the faction wars. I believe Matt Nelan, you are one of the matches remaining.
My captain match is done. John Polverino bested me at Gen Con.
I'm sorry, man. I forgot you, Captain. I keep thinking Davis. I apologize.
But we do have Neil Nelan, my brother, maybe the 4th best Nelan, and Bob Odell left to play for these faction war matches. We are just waiting for the right time to get those set up online.
So who are I believe it's Polverino and Pagillo are the 2 that have gone. Who is left? Who remains for you to face off?
So on the Impact side, we have Google Docs Dan Page, the master of spreadsheet, and Phoenix EV Fresh.
Okay.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, Matt, but didn't you guys play them in a round during Faction Wars prior to the Top Cuts?
It's true, we did. I bested John Polverino and Booker bested Chris Pagillo, but Google Docs Dan and Evie Fresh both won their respective matches.
Okay, so right now it's going into a match that potentially they both have already faced and not won. I mean, Booker's definitely held up his end of the bargain on his end, which is great. I know Neil doesn't play online at all, and I know he's just a little worried about getting the setup running and the interaction. He's just apprehensive. He's a good player. He knows what he's doing. He can follow along. I just don't know how well he's going to be able to handle the playing online. It's just not something he's ever done, I think, in any game. I think this is all brand new to him for a setup like that. I'm not even sure how I'm sure I'm going to have to help him at some point get a setup going because I don't think he knows how to do that.
All right. Well, I believe that is it. Matt, I do want to get you on the show a little bit more, so let me ask you right here. How did you get involved in How did you come to the Legendary Fighting Federation?
As far as the Super Show goes, Origins, I believe 2017. Dave and myself, we walked by the booth and were enthralled. I picked up some starters, played the game a couple times with friends. It sat in my car. After that, in the trunk for about a year until Origins 2018, when Dave decided to go all in.
And you decided to go all in with them?
Origins 2018, David Maruscsak, myself, we played in the tournament. Scott Meister also played. Rayanne was a casual observer. We played in the Origins championships. After that, we came home to Cleveland, and the Rustbelt was formed with the four founding members being myself, David, Rayanne, and Scott.
Okay, I've never heard that you guys were down. And then you managed to bring your brother and his family along into it.
Yeah, the original group of people was the four of us, and then Neil, demoed it when we got back, and him and his daughter really liked it. So they got starters that they were able to play with, and then James Booker. Actually, I had known James for probably about 5-6 years running, in and out of other games, but we had never really been, I would say, anything more than acquaintances. We had run into each other from like Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars LCG and just seeing each other at the game store. And we were just passing, hey, how you doing? And then he found out we were playing a wrestling game, and he had apparently picked it up back in, I want to say 2016. He had gotten a bunch of stuff, but he hadn't really gotten anybody to play it up here with him. His buddy Brad was playing with him, but he lived down in Akron, and there wasn't really any following for it up here. So when he found out we were playing it, I don't know if there was a post on my wall or something, or how he came about it. But then he just was like, hey, I've got some of this stuff. And then he showed up the one night, brought his decks, and then, the rest is history. It's just kind of funny that I had known the guy for 5 years off and on, and then now I've seen more of him in the past year than I've seen some of my other friends.
I think we've all literally seen more of James Booker than we want to. Bathtubs.
Hey man, at least he's squeaky clean when he's in those bathtubs. I mean, he does have some of the best promos in the business. And I mean, none are fresh and cleaner than James Booker. I mean, Mike, who has a better promo than James Booker? I mean, realistically, at the end of this year, when it comes time to awards for Microphone Master, how does James Booker not just get that award?
James Booker as Microphone Master is going to stack up. He's absolutely will be in the running, not just because of, like you mentioned, the multiple bathtub promos. I like some of the finding Shane Strickland at various locations promos. He's also got the infamous JEFF rap that will go down in history.
He's a man of many talents, and one of them is running his mouth. And I couldn't be happier that he is on our team.
But I mean, look, he's not the only one that's got a good at promos up there in the Rustbelt. I know there's a phrase that I've seen multiple people use. I've seen featured in multiple promos. A phrase that consists of 3 simple words: roll, flip, squat. And that's a direct. Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely developed by somebody sitting next to me.
That's not just a phrase. That's a term to live by, my friends.
That's all because you're the man that brought that to the game.
He doesn't like to take a lot of credit for things. You wouldn't believe it, but Matt is an incredibly humble person, and he doesn't like to be in the spotlight as much as you'd think he would. I know that he does, but he doesn't like to think about it. But anyways, he he brought something in that he didn't realize what it was. It went super viral. I mean, it's no bit of the bubbly, but it definitely caught on.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both for being on the show. I look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, of course, Saturday, September 21st, will be Supershow Marktoberfest, taking place at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having everybody.
Register for you at the door.
Michael, I appreciate your time, and I know what you do. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So I encourage all of you to show up. You can also catch Dave, Matt, and the rest of the competitors up there at Rustbelt Championship Wrestling. Monday Mayhem takes place at 6 p.m. North Olmsted. Thank you very much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having us on.
The Director of Operations, Dave Maruscsak, and Matt Nelan. That was Matt Nelan and David Maruscsak. I'd like to thank both those gentlemen once again for appearing on the show. I have a few results to give you from Fall RiverCon. I'm going to run down the list of play groups, and that will be it for our show. So, yesterday, Saturday the 14th, up in Massachusetts, they had a big event. There were 42 players on hand. Ryan Pierce, who came into this event as the rolling champion, having successfully defended it 11 times, lost to Mark Sylvia. Mark Sylvia became the rolling champion. However, he then lost it to Brian, wait for it, Schmidt, a host of Royal Ramble Radio, who then lost it in a four-way to Beth Simmons. So the end result of the con, Beth Simmons is the current rolling champion. This event featured a Crime Wave. Only one member of Crime Wave, TJ Marconi, was able to make the top cut. There's a newly formed RCW Tri-State, which is headed by Brian Waitford Schmidt. Three of the four members that came from the brand new RCW Tri-State made the top cut. There was a match between the GM of RCW, James DeMello, and Marconi, with the winner being able to deliver chops to the loser. James DeMello lost, so received 2 chops from public enemy number 1, TJ Marconi. There was a hat versus hat match. Chris Pagillo putting up his horse head versus Evil Ed putting up his cheese head. Chris Pagillo was able to win that match. However, after the con, there was a deal struck. James DeMello proposed a trade for the cheese head. If Chris Pagillo would give the cheese head back to Evil Ed, James DeMello would give Chris Pagillo a set of the Italian bottle that had been defiled by GM John Calais for Chris Pagillo to dispose of as he saw fit. That trade was accepted. Evil Ed regained his cheese hat. In the tournament to face the champion, Stu Rainey, the top 2 ended up being John Eldis from RCW Tri-State, using Johnny Gargano, took on Steve Moonstar Overlook, who was using Belinda, and John Eldis emerged victorious from that. John Eldis then took on Stu Rainey in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Both John Eldis and Stu Rainey were each able to secure 1 fall, so a 3rd fall was necessary. And at crowd meter 4, using the main event crowd meter, John Eldis became victorious. He becomes the RCW Heavyweight Champion. But his day wasn't over yet because Derek Correa, who had won the TakeOver weekend, cashed in his GM's favor to take on John Eldis. John Eldis was able to successfully retain. He remains the RCW Heavyweight Champion. There was also a side event, a tag team qualifier tournament. As we have discussed previously on this show, the GM John Calais, to determine who would be the number one contenders to take on the Inner Circle for the LFF Tag Team Championship, created an 8-team bracket with the winner was going to become the number one contender. However, the boss, Steve Resk, decided he wanted to create his own 8-team bracket made up of exclusively East Coast tag teams, and the winner of that would face the winner of Calais' bracket, and that ultimate winner would become the number one contender for the LFF Tag Team Championship. 2 teams were selected at Fall River Con to become the first entrants in the East Coast bracket. Those teams are the Demons and G2G. So congratulations to those 2 teams. They announced that there will be a major East Coast tag team event coming soon. And finally, Stu Rainey officially joined Impact. Impact has gained another member. That faction continues to grow. So those are the results from Fall River Con. From what I've seen, looks like they put on a great show. I know that Bob the Brain Dunn successfully defended the Hardcore Championship 4 times at that event, and he's bringing that championship to Cleveland, to North Olmsted, next weekend. So there may be some more hardcore matches coming up next Saturday. Last thing, we're going to cover the current list of play groups as far as I know. We'll start with my own hometown, Buckeye Championship Wrestling. We normally play Saturdays at 6 p.m. at the Guard Tower in Columbus, Ohio. We won't be playing next weekend because we're going to be going to the Supershow Marktoberfest that we discussed earlier. And then the week after that, we're actually going to be at Guard Tower East for a big monthly event. Saturday, probably earlier in the day. If you're interested in coming, check dates and time on the Facebook page. Rustbelt Championship Wrestling. Of course, we interviewed 2 gentlemen from there today. They normally have their matches Monday nights at 6 p.m. Monday Mayhem at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. LFF Tri-State plays at a Store of Fire and Dice in Lynbrook, New York, Thursdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. City of Champions Wrestling plays at Titan Game Shop in Hopewell, Pennsylvania, Sundays, usually at noon. I believe they are playing Saturdays this month. Same time. True American Heroes plays at Frontline Games in Clarksville, Tennessee, Saturdays at 6 p.m. Florida Cardboard Wrestling plays at House Rules Game in Kissimmee, Florida. Check with the store or the Facebook group for dates and times. New Order Wrestling plays in Michigan. They have been playing at Fun for All Comics Games. We have played in Michigan. Again, I would check that Facebook page for dates and times. Nothing has been announced as far as I know currently, but look for James Hand to make an announcement soon. Destiny Games in Westland, Michigan hosts a Supershow game Wednesday nights at 6:30. Kalamazoo, Michigan is the home of a Fanfare Comics. They host games on the second and fourth Sunday of every month from 12 to 2 p.m. Sin City Wrestling plays at Atomic Trading in Las Vegas, Nevada, Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Wizards Card Championship Wrestling plays at Wizards Asylum Comics and Games in Norman, Oklahoma. They play many times Sundays around noon, but that is not a regular time. So please check with the Facebook group for that, or reach out to the stores. Revolutionary Championship Wrestling, we just discussed their event. They play at 3 different locations throughout the week. They play at Newland Comics in New Bedford, Massachusetts, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays from 3 to 6 p.m., Saturdays from 11 to 4. They play tabletop games in Westport, Massachusetts, Tuesdays from 3:30 to 6. And they play at Game King in Fall River, Massachusetts, usually Sundays from 5 to 9 p.m. Island of Life Wrestling plays at East End Gaming in Oakdale, New York, Wednesdays and Fridays. Check with the store for dates and times. Outpost Wrestling plays at Outpost Games in Glendale, Arizona, Saturdays from 11 to 2. Meeple People Wrestling plays at Highlander Games in Boonton, Jersey. Check the store for dates and times. There are also games hosted at two of the Alternate Universes stores. The first game is hosted at the AU Bluebell store in East Orangeton, Pennsylvania. The second is at the AU Home store in Holmes, Pennsylvania. The Home store plays Sundays at 12 p.m. The Bluebell store, check the store for dates and times. And that is it for my list of playgroups. If you would like to be added to the list of playgroups, if you'd like to ask us a question, leave some feedback, you can feel free to contact us. You can reach out to Nathan or I through Facebook Messenger. You can email the show. We are outlawmudcast@gmail.com. That's outlawmudcast@gmail.com. Or you can send us a direct message on Twitter. We are at outlawmudcast on Twitter. For Nathan Wagner, I'm Uncle Kirk. Thank you, and good day.